Now, Kelsey Mitchell has definitely been in the news this whole season for various reasons. One being that when Caitlin Clark went down, she stayed the course and initiated the offense, man. Sent them places we never thought they would go without Caitlin Clark, and I commend her for that. Now, we know that Stephanie White has found herself in a rabbit hole as well. Speaking about making Kelsey Mitchell top priority with the team. Now, it's been people in the media speaking about us content creators calling out the BS with making Kelsey the top priority. Now, I am here to tell you, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent.
So, Kelsey Mitchell essentially called Caitlin Clark soft. Those words, man, they just hung there in the air. It was a wild accusation against the biggest name in basketball right now. Kelsey was on a podcast, and she didn't hold back, saying Caitlin was never bigger than the program. Now that sounds like a compliment, right? But everyone immediately saw it for what it was. A huge, understated dig. The real message? Caitlin, this generational talent, should be way more dominant. She needs to be more aggressive, leading the team, not just blending in. It was like a silent bombshell. But the league and fans, they absolutely erupted. It wasn't praise at all. It was definitely a subtle shot, wrapped up in fake admiration.
And went 5 games with the Aces, and then last night's game went into overtime without Kelsey Mitchell. She went down with a very unfortunate injury, and then Aaliyah Boston fouling out. It was so insane. Shout out to all of you guys who were on the live watch party with me. We had so much fun. We were on until like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I honestly think it might have been the perfect way for this season to end for the Fever. I don't know how many more blows they could have taken with this team and with Kelsey Mitchell's injury, which, by the way, we just found out what it was. But with her injury, I don't know how they would have done in a 7-game series with the Phoenix Mercury. But I do want to give you guys the update there.
And look, a lot of people just couldn't believe it at first. Everyone felt like Kelsey's comments were a super subtle but totally clear jab. Like one commentator even said, "You would think somebody of her caliber would feel like she's bigger than the system." That really summed up what everyone was thinking. Caitlin should be that assertive, dominant force out there. When you're talking about a player like Clark, who's been called the female Michael Jordan, the expectation is to command, not just go along with things. So to suggest she wasn't trying to take over or put her foot down, that just seemed like a huge misunderstanding of her actual potential, and honestly, her rightful place at the very top of the sport. Quickly, the whole conversation shifted from praising her to questioning her. Was Caitlin Clark being too humble?
Calling out the BS with making Kelsey the top priority. Now, I am here to tell you, Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. You make Caitlin Clark the top priority. She's the female Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I don't give a damn what people in the media are saying. If Kelsey Mitchell was like that, they would have been in the playoffs. Y'all do know Kelsey Mitchell been in the league like 7-8 years, right? We do know that, right? Now, I'm not saying she's not a phenomenal basketball player, because she truly is. But should she be the focal point of the team just because she's been there the longest? No. Caitlin Clark is the team. She is the system. She is the needle.
But here's the thing. This whole idea totally clashes with what we all know about Caitlin Clark's actual game-changing impact. She's not just a player. She is the system, you know? She moves the needle, a force that can literally change entire seasons by herself. So, for Kelsey to frame it like Caitlin wasn't trying to be bigger than everybody inside the locker room, that just felt like a deliberate way to downplay her incredible power. Critics immediately jumped in, arguing that Clark's humility was being totally misunderstood as a lack of drive, when in reality, her presence alone has completely revolutionized the WNBA. Her impact goes way beyond just individual games. She's elevated the whole league to levels of viewership and attention we've never seen before. That, right there, makes her bigger than any single program.
Injury, which, by the way, we just found out what it was. But with her injury, I don't know how they would have done in a 7-game series with the Phoenix Mercury. But I do want to give you guys the update there. So this is the message that Kelsey Mitchell said to fans. She said, "Me letting you all know about my health is just me showing love and respect to those who showed it to me. I suffered from something called rhabdomyolysis. Last night, my muscles stopped producing and reached its maximum capacity. I went into a sense of numbness, paralyzing feeling with no movement from my lower extremities for up to 5 to 7 seconds. Because my muscles stopped producing positive blood to my bloodstream.
Now what's crazy is, this whole controversy wasn't even new. It actually goes back to earlier statements from coach Stephanie White, who said she was making Kelsey Mitchell the team's top priority. Content creators and fans immediately called that out as total BS. They argued that focusing so much on Mitchell was just wrong when you had a generational talent, like Caitlin Clark, on the roster. The overwhelming belief was that Clark, not Mitchell, should be the absolute center, the person the entire franchise is built around. That statement from Coach White really kicked off a lot of early season debates, and it totally set the stage for Kelsey's recent comments to be seen through a lens of existing tension. People were already questioning the team's strategic vision right from the start.
But should she be the focal point of the team just because she's been there the longest? No. Caitlin Clark is the team. She is the system. She is the needle mover. You build around her. I am sorry, and I'm never going to bite my tongue about it. I'm not disrespecting Kelsey in any shape, way, or form, but she's just not Caitlin Clark. I am sorry. She's the game. Caitlin Clark single-handedly changed the game, if she's in the game or not. And not only just changed the game, she changed their season. Imagine if Kelsey Mitchell got hurt like Caitlin did, right?
So, the strong message from fans was really clear. Prioritize Clark, empower her, and recognize that she has this totally unique ability to drive success and revolutionize the sport. Don't ever ask her to dial back her and her greatness.
Numbness, paralyzing feeling with no movement from my lower extremities for up to 5 to 7 seconds. Because my muscles stopped producing positive blood to my bloodstream, my body locked up from a physical standpoint, and from there, fatigue and cramping settled in. It sucked. I panicked because I began to think the worst when I felt like I couldn't move my legs. It was an out-of-body experience for me, and I thank God for covering me at a time like that. So today, on October 1st, I am walking and moving at a slow pace, but I will be fine very soon. I want to thank the Fever medical staff, Vegas medical team, and the staff at the local hospital for keeping me safe. In other words, I played literally till my wheels fell off.
Plus, the conversation also brought up Kelsey Mitchell's 7-8 years in the league, and how that contrasts with Caitlin Clark's immediate, explosive impact. One commentator flat out said, if Kelsey Mitchell was like that, they would have been in the playoffs. That's a huge statement, implying that just being in the league a long time doesn't necessarily mean you have transformative power. Now, everyone agrees Mitchell is a phenomenal player, but the argument was that she just hadn't delivered the kind of game-changing results that Clark promised from day one. This whole comparison really highlighted a fundamental tension. Should a team prioritize a veteran presence or totally unleash a once-in-a-generation talent, even if it means shaking up established hierarchies and expectations?
If Caitlin Clark, they would have beat Las Vegas. No disrespect to Kelsey Mitchell at all, but had they had Caitlin, they would have beat Las Vegas, bro. That's how big of a difference maker Caitlin is, bro. So all the people sitting up here saying all these different things about, well, you know, she shouldn't, we shouldn't say that, rage bait and all, man, screw that. Screw all that. Y'all just mad that we get more views than y'all, and we stand on business because y'all don't want to lose those good old media passes. That's all it is. That's all it is. You don't need a media pass to be relevant, baby. I proved that like 3-4 years ago. Let's listen. This Kelsey.
And get this, a really provocative hypothetical came up too. People were asking, imagine if Kelsey Mitchell got hurt just like Caitlin did, and she was only gonna play, say, 13 games. Do you think Caitlin could have done the same thing Kelsey did and kept the team on course? The underlying feeling was that Caitlin, even playing limited games, would have actually propelled the team further. She might have even beaten tough opponents like Las Vegas. This whole scenario wasn't meant to downplay Mitchell's skills at all, but just to show how huge Clark's influence is perceived to be. It suggested that Clark's mere presence, even if she's sidelined, could inspire a totally different level of performance and expectation, fundamentally changing the team's path in a way very few other players ever could.
But I will be fine very soon. I want to thank the Fever medical staff, Vegas medical team, and the staff at the local hospital for keeping me safe. In other words, I played literally till my wheels fell off. Thank you for the prayers, love, respect, and support through all of this. It rode with me through this journey. Then I love you. This is truly a testament of Kelsey Mitchell giving her all on the court. She truly did play until she couldn't play anymore. And when you look back at Kelsey Mitchell's career, she didn't miss any games this season. There were so many games when she was playing 30 plus minutes a game. You could see how exhausted she was. And I've been saying that in the live streams, and I'm not even saying from a production standpoint. She was still producing at the highest level. She was playing.
Now, Kelsey herself actually described the arrival of someone as big as Caitlin as a huge adjustment period for the entire organization. She talked about needing a lot of role-playing, both on and off the court. She even mentioned numerous moving parts in the locker room and training room, really acknowledging the immense impact Clark's presence brought. While she presented these as neutral observations about team dynamics, some people totally interpreted them as more proof of an underlying struggle. It felt like they were trying to integrate Clark without fully giving her the spotlight. It really highlighted that intricate human element in professional sports, where individual egos and established pecking orders can seriously collide with revolutionary talent, requiring super delicate navigation from everyone involved.
And we stand on business because y'all don't want to lose those good old media passes. That's all it is. That's all it is. You don't need a media pass to be relevant, baby. I proved that like 3-4 years ago. But let's listen. This is Kelsey Mitchell on Sue Bird's podcast, speaking her piece. Let's rock.
The society, the social media, and how bad people take to social media and abuse it for in the wrong realm of light. And so I think that's one part of it. But I also think that it was an adjustment period. And I talked to the FIBA organization about this. It's like I think it was an adjustment period that we all should have adjusted to throughout the course of the organization. I think that.
And more specifically, Kelsey's comments really suggested that Clark wasn't bringing that fierce, aggressive leadership everyone expected from a female Michael Jordan. Instead, she was taking a more subdued, team-oriented approach. And honestly, some people found that really baffling. And yeah, they definitely saw it as soft.
And that they were in without Kelsey Mitchell. When Kelsey Mitchell went down, the energy in the entire arena came down with it. And you can see as she was getting helped off the court, her leg was locked up, but even all the players from the Aces went over to just give her a pat on the back and wish her well. The whole Fever team was over there. Coach Steph White came over. I think everybody felt it in that moment because what we have seen from Kelsey Mitchell, she's such a phenomenal player and she also seems to just be an incredible human being. And that was really, really devastating to see. So I'm so glad that she is recovering. It doesn't seem like it's anything that's going to linger on. She will make a full recovery from this. But even...
Listen, one commentator just came right out and said, his voice full of anger, "Guys, I know I'm probably going to get some flack for this, but I feel like they're calling Caitlin Clark soft." And he didn't stop there. He doubled down, asking, "Is it me? Or does it feel like they're calling Caitlin Clark a little soft, bro? A little immature? A little basic?" That raw, unfiltered reaction really summed up the outrage from a huge part of the fan base. For them, suggesting a player of Clark's caliber needed to be reminded to fit in, or that her style was just complimentary, felt like a total insult. It was a clear misjudgment of her role as the undeniable, uncompromising leader that the league truly deserved and desperately needed.
Stuff is a lot of moving parts, and I think the biggest part that I respected about Caitlin is that she never was bigger than the program. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, it wasn't like she wasn't trying to take over.
She basically saying Caitlin was soft. Basically, she never put her foot down and tried to override. That's what I'm thinking she going into, but I could be wrong.
It wasn't. I don't know how to explain that. You know what I'm trying to say, though?
Yeah, no, I know what you're trying to say. It's like she knows who she is. She comes in. She's going to obviously do her part because that's what being a professional athlete is. But with the understanding.
Now, to her credit, Kelsey also acknowledged Caitlin's unwavering passion, even after her injury. She said, Caitlin, when she didn't play, I prayed that when she did lie, remain the same. And like I respected that by her because it could have easily not been that way. On the surface, this seemed like genuine respect from Mitchell, appreciating Clark's continued commitment despite her physical setbacks. But even this was seen through the lens of those earlier soft comments. Some still interpreted it as Kelsey subtly setting a benchmark for professional conduct. It almost implied that Clark could have been disruptive or difficult, but thankfully she wasn't. This just fueled the whole controversy even more, especially with all those underlying tones.
And I actually said at that moment, I was like, you guys, I will not be surprised if this turns into a blowout. And it didn't. It did the furthest thing from that. Somehow the Indiana Fever found their way to go into overtime with the Las Vegas Aces, with Asia Wilson scoring over 30 points, with Jackie Young scoring over 30 points, with Coach Becky Hammond, who has been in this situation before. Somehow this very injured Fever team, this battered and bruised Fever team, made it that far. And that was really just so inspirational. And I feel like anybody watching that game, you didn't feel a sense of defeat when they did lose. It was kind of like, wow, they overcame so much and they really played until.
So the host's final interpretation of Kelsey's remarks was really blunt. He basically said, she's claiming in so many words, Caitlin ain't doing that. What did that mean? It meant Clark wasn't embodying that aggressive, LeBron, Michael Jordan, or Kobe mentality that everyone expected from her. The implication was clear. Clark wasn't demanding the ball. She wasn't asserting her dominance. And she wasn't fully embracing that bigger-than-the-system persona that her talent literally dictates. This interpretation really solidified the fear among fans and analysts. They worried Clark was being stifled, or even worse, that she was willingly toning down her revolutionary game just to appease team dynamics. That kind of concession for her unparalleled potential was something many felt was totally unacceptable.
I'm gonna play a little bit more. Is it me, or does it feel like they're calling Caitlin Clark a little soft, bro? A little immature, a little soft, a little just, you would think somebody her caliber feel like she's bigger. She's supposed to feel like she's bigger than the system, guys, because she is. That's not being like a bad person. That's not being, like anything. Like, you supposed to feel that way because you is that way. Now, I could be wrong, bro, but I'm not feeling this.
You're talking about a kid in the candy store. That's Caitlin.
Yep.
Tutu, she is, but in a good way. She's a live light.
But get this, the huge irony of all these comments emerged so starkly with Kelsey Mitchell's own devastating injury later that very season. It was a physical breakdown that absolutely proved her commitment. She actually revealed she was suffering from rhabdomyolysis, which is this severe condition where your muscles literally break down. She experienced numbness, a paralyzing feeling where she had no movement from her lower body for up to 5 to 7 seconds. Her body literally just locked up. As she said, she was playing until my wheels fell off. This wasn't just some minor setback. It was a testament to her pushing her physical limits far beyond what was safe or even sustainable. It was a brutal confirmation of her own fierce dedication on the court, and it made her earlier, nuanced critique of Clark resonate with all these complex new layers.
They keep it clean. The referees, there's so much spotlight on them right now. They are under so much fire. And you guys, if you haven't seen my video, I did a whole deep dive on the referees, and I also give you guys a little bit more context into who the referees are like reporting to and how they get trained. And so sometimes with the referees on the court, I sometimes don't even blame them wholeheartedly, because I think it does go back to the training and the kind of preparedness that they have, the rule books that they are going off of, but they are under fire right now. So I think that they know they need to keep the game clean. They need to make sure it doesn't get too physical.
Her rhabdomyolysis incident, where her muscles just stopped producing and hit their maximum capacity, really highlighted Kelsey's incredible resilience. She literally played every single game that season, often logging over 30 minutes a night. You could see she was exhausted, but she was relentlessly focused. She carried that team on her back, sacrificing her body. It was a true testament to her unwavering dedication. This unparalleled effort meant she had absolutely no energy left for celebrations or outward displays. Just pure, grim determination. Her profound personal sacrifice, pushing past all physical limits, underscored the intense pressure she faced and the sheer amount of responsibility she shouldered It was an undeniable display of commitment that really contrasted with those soft accusations swirling around Caitlin Clark.
And Caitlin Clark is not bigger than the system. Caitlin Clark just come in and play her role. Caitlin Clark need to go there and be the LeBron, be Michael Jordan, be Kobe, aggressive, give me the ball. She's claiming basically so many words. Caitlin ain't doing that. You know, Caitlin ain't doing that. She's not coming in being, because you would think, that's what Kelsey's saying. I don't like this. I don't like this, bro. And I've been said it before, man. I'm getting word that, you know, Caitlin and them standing on business. But I don't know, for Kelsey Mitchell to come.
And then, when Kelsey Mitchell finally went down, the energy in the entire arena just plummeted. But here's the crazy part. Miraculously, the Indiana Fever, who were already battered and bruised, pushed the Las Vegas Aces to overtime. That was a truly inspirational feat. Coach Steph White immediately rallied her team, reminding them, of any of the teams, we've been in this position before. Like, we know how to handle this. This unexpected surge of resilience, even after losing their star and with Aaliyah Boston fouling out, totally proved the team's deep-seated togetherness and fighting spirit. It really showcased that even without their top players, the Fever could perform beyond all expectations, highlighting the incredible collective strength that defined their improbable season.
The game clean. They need to make sure it doesn't get too physical. The WNBA cannot afford any more injuries. We have seen too many superstars. Now we've seen Kelsey go down. We've seen Nafisa go down. Caitlin went down this year. And the last two MVP candidates in A'ja Wilson and Alyssa Thomas, please keep the players safe. That's what we want to see. We want to see a clean game. We don't want to see technicals. We don't want to see coaches going crazy. And so that's going to be my biggest thing for the finals. But if I had to make a prediction at this very moment, I think the Phoenix Mercury are a better team. It's just if they are able to defend A'ja, what kind of defenses are they going to throw at the Aces? And can anyone on...
Looking ahead now, the Fever's future really seems tied to keeping this hard-won chemistry alive. Even with all the injuries in that dramatic season, the team's bond looks unbreakable. A lot of people are arguing to keep as many players and coaches as possible, including Stephanie White and her assistants, so they can really build on this foundation. The whole idea is to run it back, to capitalize on that fighting spirit and mission they discovered through all the adversity. You can tell the team genuinely enjoys each other's company, showing strong chemistry both on and off the court. This collective spirit, forged through extreme challenges, presents a super compelling argument for continuity, suggesting that the team's greatest strength truly lies in its unified purpose, totally separate from any individual star-powered debates. Honestly, the entire saga boils down to a fundamental philosophical clash in professional sports. How exactly do you integrate a generational talent without completely disrupting existing team dynamics or perceived hierarchies? Is it the star's job to adapt, or is it the team's imperative to revolve around them? Kelsey Mitchell's comments, interpreted as a call for humility, and the subsequent backlash, which demanded Clark's assertive dominance, perfectly capture this tension. It raises huge questions about leadership, loyalty, and the very definition of team success in an era where individual superstardom often dictates the narrative. It forces everyone to reconsider what it truly means to be a game changer in a team sport, especially in a league that's really striving for mainstream recognition. So, was Kelsey Mitchell's assessment of Caitlin Clark truly unthinkable, or was it just an honest, maybe ill-advised take on team integration from a veteran's perspective? Regardless of her intent, her words ignited a vital conversation about that delicate balance between individual greatness and collective success. It forced fans and analysts to confront their own expectations for superstar athletes. The dramatic turn of events, from those controversial statements to Mitchell's heroic, body-breaking performance, really created a season of unexpected narrative. This ongoing debate about Clark's role and how a team should embrace unprecedented talent is absolutely going to define the Fever's journey, setting the stage for an even more explosive future.